You're such an asshole.
Oh, it's after Christmas. Time to start up at back to work. AssholeConsulting.com. If you got questions, Cappy's got answers as long as you got money. The world's only professional. No, what was it? You are the Dark Knight of advice columns, the IKEA of the consulting world. I had a fan mail sent me. I printed that off. That went into the memento box. That was you are the Dark Knight of the advice columns, the IKEA of the consulting world at AssholeConsulting.com. A young man writes. What does he write? Let's go back to the original email, huh? I heard you mention that dating and marriage is all prostitution. Can you elaborate on why that is? Is marriage or dating really just another form of prostitution? If she pays out the same or more amount of money as well as while dating or married, it's not prostitution, right? Right, yeah, no, you are correct. I mean, it's look, prostitution is paying for money, and that could go male to female, female to male. It's whoever's paying out more money. And, you know, you're not going to have an accountant sitting there keeping track of every penny and, oh, the girl paid a nickel more than the guy, so the guy's the prostitute and the woman's that. But going back to traditional times, and certainly in my time, and not all cases, because some women did go Dutch, even we have records that women actually paid for their own fucking shit as early as 1992. Yeah, so outside of going Dutch, but I would say in probably damn well near 85% of the time, I was the one forking over way more money in terms of gifts, time, blah, 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 gas, picking people up, all that, that you essentially are paying for the woman's company. Whether or not there's actually sex or not involved, that, I guess, is the difference between an escort and a whore. But they're all whores, whether if you're shelling out that much more money. We'll continue on. Also, why is prostitution allowed and more accepted in other countries than the United States besides Vegas, which I hear has the most overpriced hookers in the world? Is because there's not that many other opportunities for women to make money in these places compared to the U.S.? Yeah, sometimes that's the case. Also, how does legalizing prostitution affect the marriage/dating market, and does it make women better overall in that area where it is legal regarding aptitude, personality, and looks? Also heard that Brazil is trying to create a culture where everyone accepts prostitution. Why is the U.S. so different from a country like Brazil and other when it comes to violence? Let me know the cost. I say, okay, look, if you want me to do a full-fledged socioeconomic and political analysis of prostitutions and do longitudinal and comparison studies of different cultures, I mean, that's going to cost at least $150. I say, I could just tell you why the saying marriage is just legalized prostitution, why that is true, and he decided to go with that one. So but anyway, for the most part, and it gets back to what I said, is historically speaking, and I would even say by today's standards, and maybe Gen X is the last generation to do this because we're the last ones to actually pursue women, and we're not a bunch of fucking pussy, limp-wristed, hipster-wearing millennial douches. But back the last time men pursued women, because the last time men were on the ground was the Gen X generation. And this is just my experience, but talking to my friends, and I'm sure most men down below will have similar experience. If not, tell the truth. But the lion's share of the flow of money went from men to women, as it always has, as there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. This gets back to it was an economic exchange. It was a business exchange. We will go out and provide the resources to produce the stuff and take care of you and the children. You raise the children and make sure that child is mine. That's it. You give me sex. You take care of the kids at home. I will provide me and my family the resources that is necessary. So if you look at it in that way, which it has historically been, and that's not just humans, that's pretty much every animal on the planet. It was an exchange, a mutually beneficial exchange, a relationship, a contract, and there was no negative connotation of that. It's like, okay, and this is where feminisms have their heads up their asses. I was going to come up with something more crass, but I didn't come up with anything more crass. Where they make it sound like women's work or staying at home raising kids or keeping a house or making food and supporting the man like that was nothing. Like that was not, Hillary Clinton, some of us weren't baking cookies or whatever the fuck she said. No, I don't know if you've ever tried to make cookies or if you've tried to maintain I maintain a home and I do a shitty job of it. I mean, like, the toilet is clean and the sink is clean and the dishes are clean. The fuck if I know how to make a house look nicer compared to it. Women know how to do that. Or they have a predisposition to do that. And it's valuable. Raising kids, I can feed. I've never changed a diaper in my life. Right? Women know how to raise kids, or again, predisposed to do that. So that is hard work. It is, especially before evil men created washing machines and further oppressed women. It's a hard job, and it's an important job, just as important as the man going out and making money. So the issue of money flow, it's not like women just didn't do that. Certainly there's sex involved, but that's a separate matter, so let's focus on that. When you get into dating and prostitution and marriage, I think it jumps a line, it crosses a line. When you're dating, it's the men, that is prostitution. That just is like, here, I'll take you out and show you what an awesome guy I am. And then it goes like, maybe I'll grant you access to the hoo-ha. Do all these amazing things, maybe I'll grant you access, but oh no. And so in that regard, yes, certainly it is prostitution. You're certainly paying for it in terms of time, money, and resources. Heck, a lot of times you're just paying for an escort. You're not even getting the sex. Which the younger you are, that's probably more the common the case. But then once you get into marriage, now all of a sudden, okay, the girl's going to be providing you sex, the girl's going to be taking care of the house, having kids, raising motherly, wifely duties and all that. So then it turns into more of a transaction. But, once again, with feminism and the rise of divorce, it really did just become, you're just paying, it took on, sadly, more of the prostitutional, if that's a word, the prostitutorial, the hoary role of a prostitute, where you're just basically paying the wife to make her happy. And then that's even worse. At least when you paid the girl to be an escort, she provided you somewhat pleasant company, then you got paid for sex, well, you get sex. Now you just pay a lot of guys that are married, you're just paying the bitch not to fucking divorce you, take half your shit. You're just paying her to shut her up. You're giving her coma money, and that's worse than prostitution, because you're not getting anything good out of it. You just get peace and silence, which many men today would say is a very important thing. But it really is, do you have a loving wife? That determines whether or not, is she a whore, or is she actually a loving wife, right? Because is she providing and supporting the family? Is she raising the kids? And if you don't have kids, is she carrying her own weight? Is she working? Is she doing, is she contributing to the, well, that's not a whore. That's mutually beneficial. That's love. And you would probably willingly buy her flowers or jewelry or whatever else it is, because she brings something to the table. But for the rest of it, and certainly, half of, if we use divorce as a proxy of failed marriages, say another half of marriages are miserable and the guy just can't get divorced. I'd say 75% of marriages are a prostitution, or by that time it becomes protection money. Please don't divorce me. Get off my ass. Leave me the fuck alone. So anywhere between from dating as a middle school boy who's paying a girl to simply be in his company, an escort, to late teens to even, until you're dead if you're dating an adult dating relationship where you're just paying for sex. Okay, that is prostitution. To the marriage where it's a protection racket, you're paying the woman to just leave you in peace. That is all some form of, I don't want to say prostitution that indicates sex, some form of paying the woman for her services and not because you actually like her. That's kind of where the realm is there. So is all marriage prostitution? No, certainly not. But it is increasingly so the case, and increasingly, sadly, the case is not even prostitution, it's protection money. That's we are always advancing the philosophical envelope of dating and the sexes and psychosexual, social, romantic economics here at assholeconsulting.com. If you got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com, send me the email there, and you will be charged, not for the email, I give you a price quote. Don't be a millennial cunt. Yeah, you know you're going to charge. I just fucking told you. We got my books at Amazon.com. Search Aaron Clarey, you'll find them. Go to the Clarey Podcast, Clarey. Just search the Clarey Podcast, and my blog, CaptainCapitalism.blogspot.com. Best of luck to all of you. Toodles.